Welcome to Free Bible Lessons in English. Today we are going to learn from the book of Numbers, which is the fourth book of the Bible and also the fourth book of the Pentateuch. Hello, this is Reverend Dr. Hemsagar Saili. Welcome to this channel. If you are not subscribed the channel, so I urge you to subscribe, like, make comment and share with your friends so that they all also will be blessed. God bless you. The author of the book Numbers is Moses. Date of writing probably between 1450 and 1410 before Christ. Name of the book Numbers Gates is numbered from two accounts in Numbers chapter 1 and chapter 26 of the numbering or counting of the people of Israel, first at Mount Sinai and second on the plains of Moab. Theme and purpose. Though Numbers gets its name from the numbering of the people, it is primarily concerned with nearly 40 years of wandering in the desert, a journey which should have only lasted 11 days became a 40-year agony of defeat simply because of the disbelief and disobedience of the people. Numbers then shows the consequence of failing to mix faith with the promises of God. See Hebrew chapter 3 verse 16 to Hebrew chapter 4 verse 2. Further, Numbers teaches us that while life does not have its wilderness experiences, God's people do not have to stay in those conditions. Another important theme shown throughout the book of Numbers is found in God's continual care for his people over and over again, regardless of the rebellion and unbelief. He miraculously supplied their needs. He provided them with water, manna, and quail. He continued to love and forgive the people even when they complained, grumbled, and rebelled against him. Keyword of Book of Numbers is wanderings. Key chapters: Numbers chapters 13 and chapter 14 stand as the key chapters because these chapters record a critical turning point for the nation. Here at Kadesh Barnea, Numbers chapter 32 verse 8, after receiving the evil report from 10 out of 12 spies whom Moses sent to spy out the land, with the exception of Joshua and Caleb, Israel focused on the giants in the land, failed to believe God, and refused to enter to possess and conquer the land, a land that followed with milk and honey. Key verses: Numbers chapter 14 verse 22 and verse 23. Surely all the men who have seen my glory and my signs which I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, yet have put me to the test these 10 times, and have not listened to my voice, shall by no means see the land which I swore to their fathers, nor shall any of those who spurned me see it. Numbers chapter 20 verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you have not believed me to treat me as the holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. Key people in the book of Numbers are Moses, Aaron, Miriam, Joshua, Caleb, Balak, and Balaam. Total chapters 36. Total verses 1288. Total words 39,902. Now we are going to see Christ as seen in the book of Numbers. A number of types of Christ are evident in the book of Numbers. 1. Perhaps no place is there a clearer portrait of Christ and his crucifixion than in the serpent lifted up on the standard. Numbers chapter 21 verse 4 to verse 9 with Gospel of John chapter 3 verse 14. 2. The rock that quenched the thirst of the people is a type of Christ. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4. 3. The daily manna pictures Christ as the bread come down from heaven. John chapter 3 verse 31 to verse 33. 4. The pillar of cloud and fire portray the guidance of Christ, and the cities of refuge certainly portray Christ as our refuge from judgment. 5. Finally, the red heifer. Numbers chapter 19 verse 1 to 10. Red heifer means red cow without a spot, wherein no blemish, and upon which never came yoke, is also a type of Christ. Friends, now we are going to see outline of the book of the Numbers. The book of Numbers is divided into three sections. 1. Preparation at Sinai. 2. Failure of the old generation. 3. Preparation of the new generation. 1. Preparation at Sinai. Old generation Numbers chapter 1 to chapter 10. A. The position and numbering of the people. Numbers chapter 1 to chapter 4. B. The precepts of God and sanctification of the people. Numbers chapter 5 verse 1 to chapter 9 verse 14. C. The pilgrimage toward the promised land. Numbers chapter 9 verse 15 to chapter 10 verse 36. 2. Failure of the old generation. Numbers chapter 11 to chapter 25. A. Discontent along the way. Numbers chapter 11 to chapter 12. B. Disbelief at Kadesh Barnea. Numbers chapter 13 to chapter 14. C. Discipline from the Lord. Numbers 15 to Numbers 25. Friends, I want to make an announcement. You can buy my book offline or online. The links are given at the end. Kindly buy my book and be blessed. This is a unique book. The book speaks about Paul and more about his friends who helped him. This book will be a great blessing to you. Okay, now we are going to learn some interesting observations about Numbers. The book of Numbers are also called the book of journeyings and book of murmurings. Numbers has more than 80 claims that the Lord spoke to Moses. 12 spies were sent to Canaan to investigate. 10 plagues came upon Israelites as punishment for the misuse of tongue, rebellion, adultery, and idolatry, bringing fire, sickness, leprosy, death, earthquake, and serpents, etc. 6 times Moses fell on his face before God. 3 things happened to Aaron's rod. Numbers chapter 17 verse 8. It brought forth buds. It produced blossoms. It yielded almonds. 3 times no water for Israelites. At Mara, Exodus chapter 15 verse 22. At Rephidim, Exodus chapter 17 verse 1. At Kadesh, Numbers chapter 20 verse 1 and 2. There are 7 appearances of God to Balaam between Numbers chapter 22 verse 8 to Numbers chapter 24 verse 16. The order of 12 tribes we find in the book of Numbers chapter 1. 1. 5 tribes from Leah. Numbers chapter 1 verse 5 to verse 9. 2. 3 tribes from Rachel. Numbers chapter 1 verse 10 and verse 11. 1 tribe from Bilhah. Numbers chapter 1 verse 12. 2 tribes from Jilpah. Numbers chapter 1 verse 13 and verse 14. 2 tribes from Bilhah. Numbers chapter 1 verse 15. You can see 2 times the name Bilhah, but do not be confused, because this is written according to the scriptures appearance. You can also see Genesis chapter 29 verse 32 to chapter 30 verse 21. 5 classes were not numbered with soldiers were 1 woman, 2 children, 3 strangers, 4 old men, 5 Levites of all ages. There were 6 original priests of Israel. 1 Moses. Exodus chapter 40 verse 17 to verse 33. Sam chapter 19 verse 6. 2 Aaron. Exodus chapter 28 verse 1 to verse 3. Leviticus chapter 8. 3 Nadab. Numbers chapter 3 verse 2 to verse 4. Leviticus chapter 10 verse 1 to verse 7. 4 Abihu. Numbers chapter 3 verse 2 to verse 4. Leviticus chapter 10 verse 1 to verse 7. 5 Eleazar. Numbers chapter 3 verse 2 to 4. 6 Ithamar. Numbers chapter 3 verse 2 to verse 4. Friends, thank you for watching free Bible lessons in English. You can buy my unique title book called Apostle Paul and His Companions. This book is available at amazon.in, amazon.co.uk, amazon.com, flipkart.com, infobeam.com, and this book is also available in Amazon Kindle version. You can directly buy from nosunpress.com. Book is available also in Google Play Store. Friends, I am sure that you are blessed by today's teaching. If you liked this teaching, please do not forget to subscribe, like, make comment, and share with your friends. Thank you so much. God bless you. Tomorrow we are going to learn from the book of Deuteronomy. God bless you.